4 years ago, almost to the day, I hiked 8 miles up the Spotted Bear River and floated back out. The biggest surprise wasn't the river, it was the trail. A massive wind event had turned parts of it into a giant obstacle course and added nearly 2 hours to the hike. This winter, another major wind event hit the area, and I'd been hearing stories about terrible blowdowns throughout the Bob Marshall Wilderness. So I wondered if I was walking into another sufferfest on the trail. But the float itself was so much fun I wanted to try it again. The first trip was so cold it was practically a winter hike. This year the forecast was almost perfect. Plus, I have a much better boat this time and wanted to see how it would perform in these challenging conditions, which were that the water levels were significantly lower, so I would likely be needing that greater agility of the new boat. Lower water means lots of rock dodging and possibly dangerous log jams. What I didn't know was that somewhere along the hike, the trail itself was about to force a decision I hadn't expected to make. One that had the potential to either save the trip or make it much worse. Well, good morning. I'm off on a pack rafting trip. I guess you call this side country instead of pure back country. Pretty excited about this. I've done this trip before. Their conditions might be different this time. Let's go. My home is only about 50 miles as the crow flies from the trailhead, and yet it takes a 3-hour drive to get here, mainly due to the horribly potholed 50 miles of dirt road. That's why I came here the night before and car camped at the campground, which is right at the takeout from the river. What a crazy beautiful morning. Love to be in the Bob. Okay, this does not bode well. This is 3 steps down the trail. Oof. About 1.5 miles in, so far the blowdown is very bad, but not catastrophic like it was 4 years ago. So I'm gonna press on and keep going. Also, it rained last night, so naturally the underbrush is soaked, and so am I. Well, I'm an hour in, and cold and wet and already tired, and the blowdown is continuing. But believe it or not, it's actually going to be a great day. Okay, yeah, that's really, really cold. Well, just a little over 2 hours in, and I've already made up my mind to put in that down below Silvertip cabin instead of going all the way to Dean Creek, because the blowdown is so bad. And you know, it's not just the effort, although there is a lot of effort involved. But the thing that actually is really concerning me is the risk of injury. Some of these blowdowns, most of them aren't too bad, just stepping over a log. But it's about, I think it's fair to say, every 200 yards have to step over something. But the really bad ones, the ones a friend of mine calls the jackpot, that's pretty sketchy, trying to get over and around those. And everything is still wet, so it's slippery. And I just have decided that the risk of injury is too great out here all alone. Twisted ankle could be a really bad day, so I'm going to cut it a little short. I'm not quite sure. I think that that'll still give me a 6-mile float instead of 8 or so. But we'll see. Oh. There is a road that goes along this, and I didn't even seriously consider hiking it because I prefer the trail, and if you do the road you miss some of the really cool stuff. But oh dear. Got another one to climb under here. Big problem with the road is that it adds a couple of miles. I think 2 miles, but I'm not quite sure. Although under the circumstances, that might have been a better way to go. Yeah. There's a spur trail that comes down from that, and is pretty close to the Silvertip cabin. I got it. Feels like I got, oh, knocking my helmet loose. Good thing I didn't lose it. Gonna have to stop and reattach that after I get past a little bit more. Despite the struggles, it really is gorgeous out here. Well, I made it to the spur trail. That's pretty good. There you can see. So another half a mile maybe to the cabin and the spur trail that goes down to the river. There's a moose down there. One of the possibilities I had considered is that since any normal sane person would drive to the end of the road before they start hiking, and that Silvertip cabin is a rental cabin, that maybe means that there would be some trail maintenance on this part of the trail. And lo and behold, look at this. Huge trees cleared out of the way. That's awesome. That's going to help. Made it to Silvertip Creek, and I'm greeted by this. I had just about made up my mind to put in here anyway, because I don't know if the trail maintenance goes beyond the cabin. But this looks pretty nasty. It's not terribly far down to the water. You can hear it, but it's 2 more miles to Dean Creek. So now I'm not sure if I want to push on or put in. Well, I met a couple of really nice guys at the Silvertip cabin. They're out here bear hunting from Maryland, no less. That's pretty impressive. And according to them, it's the trail maintenance continues at least as far as Blue Lake. So I'm pushing on, going back to the original plan to put in at Dean Creek. Hope the trail maintenance goes as far as possible. Here's one of the Blue Lakes. And here's the other Blue Lake. More like turquoise, really. Well, it looks like the trail clearing is continuing all the way to Dean Creek, for which I am incredibly grateful. Thank you so much to whoever did this very hard work. It does really bring home how important trail maintenance is, because it's pretty tough moving around in the Bob or Rainy Wilderness without it. Four years ago is that the water level is a lot lower this time, and that was one of the reasons I talked myself into putting in at the Silvertip Creek trail, because farther up I go, the less water there will be. And so now I am going to Dean Creek, and hope I don't regret it, because I'm thinking there's going to be a fair amount of rock dodging and rock rubbing. Last time I just bumped along down the middle of the river. There's plenty of water, didn't have to worry about it. Gonna have my work cut out for me here. Okay, I made it. Oh, squirrel. Whew. And here's the big outfitter camp at Dean Creek. Wonderful place to camp. And there's the Spotted Bear River. Let's get loaded up. I've got a brand new raft. Before, I was using my old Denali Llama Alpacka raft, which was not terribly maneuverable and had to have the pack tied on top. But now I've got brand new Wolverine, which is just like the Narwhal, and I'm really excited to see how it does. Gonna be some rock rubbing, I can see already, so hoping it holds up. It's going to be a test of the durability of the floor for sure. Okay, it's going to be an ugly start. Okay, we're having some fun now. Probably not a lot of kickback and cruise time on this float. What happened to my blue sky? Oh shit. Okay. Whew, that was close. Hard to pick the right channel. Smooth. I didn't know that there was a right channel there. That one would have got too rocky. Whew. Left one would have got too rocky also. Oh man. Just barely squeezed by. I can't believe that. That was awesome. Whew. Well, I can tell you, this is not a fun level of water to be doing. It's okay, but I'm having to have intense concentration to navigate, trying to avoid all the rocks. Hopefully, the farther we go, the more water we'll get. And maybe it'll get a little easier, although I'm really stressing about that last half mile. I know that's where it gets really spicy. Could be extra spicy with this water level. We've got to make choices of which channel to go on. You take the broad way that's more likely to get you stuck on the rocks, or do you take the narrow, fast way that's more likely to have a sweeper like that? Shit. Oh, baby. Oh, that was exciting. Maybe you can squeeze through the outside there. I don't think I'm going to try. Wow. Yeah, man. Not worth it. Okay, get in. Okay. That's why they say it's always a different river. Can't count on it being the same. Oh, that's pretty. Seems like we're getting a little more water now. That's good. That's a narrow channel. That worked out good. That would have sucked. Okay, good choice. That was close. Wow. Okay. That was full in the face. That was fun. Wow, that just lifted me right out of there. Right over the top. That was ugly. I was doing so good too. Woo! Last boulder. Oh, that's okay. Whew. Wow. That's awesome. I was dry until that last 15 minutes. Okay. Woo! Made it. Yeah. Okay, we made it. The new boat was awesome. That maneuverability really paid off with the lower water. I think that if I was going to do this again, I definitely would have put in at Silvertip instead of going all the way to Dean Creek, because that's where most of the rock rubbing happened. But man, that last 15 minutes is just so fun. Really exciting. It seems super dangerous, but it's really class too. But really gets the heart pumping right at the end. So all right, I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Oh right, there was one more thing to say. Beer's in the truck.